Joining us now is Laura Randa. Laura is the CEO of Toivoa, and she's a biotech executive with experience in all stages of the pharmaceutical life cycle. Laura has been named, get this, one of the top 100 most inspiring people in the pharmaceutical industry by PharmaVoice for 2 years. Laura presented her company Toivoa at the recent DuPont Freedom Foundation Reinventing Delaware Awards competition, and we want to hear about how she brought Toivoa to receiving that top award. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you. So accomplished.
Yeah,
yes.
Well,
it's an
always
honor.
focus on patients, right? That's what's really important.
Right. And congratulations on this accomplishment. But before we talk about Reinventing Delaware, let's talk about who you are, because I think that's most important here. Who is Laura Randa?
Yeah. Well, you know, I've been a 30-year biotech executive, always bringing innovations to patients in healthcare, whether it was drugs or device or vaccine. But you'll hear as we talk today, 2020, the world changed for me. And a story stepped in, and I decided, my mantra has always been, those that have the ability to act must do so. And I had a career pivot, and we look forward to discussing that today.
Well, and I appreciate you mentioning that, because I'm sure that has been a huge impact. You know, 2020 was a huge impact on your career and your business. But let's talk about Toivoa.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so Toivoa actually was born out of, again, COVID, looking at the systemic changes in mental health care and the concerns and the challenges that we face. I sit on the board of American Association with People with Disabilities, and there are 70 million people in the United States, 1 billion in the globe, that have a disability. That means physical or mental, you know, with one or more life impairment. And what we found with those 70 million, very large population, almost 1 out of 4, so somebody at everybody's dinner table. And what we found was a couple really startling events. The first thing is that people with disabilities have 4.6 times more mental health issues than those without. And the second thing is that American Psychiatric Association has come out and said that the psychologists, the therapists, the counselors in today's society have little or no experience treating people with disabilities and may have unconscious bias. And so when we look at that, the mental health stigma, the issues with website accessibility only being 2% for people with disabilities, we've got a large population that don't have access to the mental health system.
And thank you for mentioning that, because here at Good Morning Wilmington at DETV, and Matt knows that we always talk about and advocate mental health.
Absolutely.
All of the time, every single year, every year we've been here, every month we talk about the importance of.
It's a big pillar of.
Yes, it is a big pillar of what we do here at DETV and Good Morning Wilmington, and the importance of mental health and having the conversation, not just for women but for men as well.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you've seen that firsthand.
Absolutely. And health is health. And there has been such and I love your focus, because we need to focus both on physical health and mental health.
Absolutely.
And that's how we're going to actually, have health and wellness and people, and we've got to invest in it now. Otherwise, there's going to be large society impacts in the future.
So, Laura, you saw an issue, in the world, honestly, right? Yeah. And then, how did Toivoa come into play? How is Toivoa revolutionizing, sort of gearing towards solving those issues?
Yeah, so I will tell you, it all the critical inflection point for me was, I had a 2020 high school graduate that actually, my daughter was diagnosed with bilateral sensorineural hearing loss at age 6. And she was a number 4 U.S. figure skater in the country. She was number 2 in her class. And she gets into University of Michigan Business School. And when she gets into University of Michigan School, like if we take a pause and think about 2020, remember we were all sewing masks. And, but I had to go out and find clear masks to make sure that she could actually read lips and hear clear sound.
Wow.
And I sent them to the university, but they never got out of the box.
Get out.
And so one of the things, she called me and said, Mom, I'm stressed, I'm anxious. And so we went on this journey to try to find psychologists to actually support her. And my husband and myself have been in biotech for over 30 years, and we know how to work the system.
Right.
But we couldn't find a psychologist that could help Lauren. Fortunately for Lauren, she was on Hearing Loss of America board and as a high school student, and there was a psychologist there. He did cognitive behavioral therapy, and as a result, she was fine. Everybody wants to know the rest of the Lauren story.
Yes, I was.
Doing okay, good.
She's doing phenomenal. it seems
Procter
like.
Gamble internship, graduated on
Oh
time.
my goodness, phenomenal is the word.
And,
So
and
that's
actually is in
important to highlight
Boston, you know, working full time at Bose. So but what that did is back to my mantra, you know, which was when you have the ability to act, must you do something? And so I actually left a 30-year biotech executive career and built in 2021 the company called Toivoa.
Wow,
And
what a
love
story.
to kind of dig into that and what we believe is the solution that can revolutionize how mental health care right here in Delaware. I'm a Delaware girl, graduated Springer Brandywine and University of Delaware grad school. We went on a 232 headquarter search. And after involved with you know, Startup 302, winning the Delaware Edge Award, winning Reinventing Delaware, we have made a decision to actually headquarter right here in Delaware.
That's amazing.
That's phenomenal. And let's talk about Reinventing Delaware. What is it?
So Reinventing Delaware is something that, you know, many of us have, you know, have fond memories of Governor Pete DuPont.
Sure.
Okay.
And, you know, 10 years ago, he actually established this Reinventing Delaware about job growth, economic growth, you know, impact to the state of Delaware. And this was the 10th year. They, you know, annually they bring 100 companies, 100 ideas, and then throughout the whole year, one is picked to be honored as the Reinventing Delaware.
And congratulations.
That was Toivoa,
Yeah.
well deserved.
Yes,
well
congratulations. What did that feeling? What was that feeling in that moment when they announced you as the recipient of this award?
You know, I think it was an award to everybody that for mental health,
Yes.
right? Because you know, we've got limited resources and employers. You know, we have short-term components of support. We have insurance coverage that's challenging for a lot of patients. But this was, to us, it was about mental health winning and making it, you know, more prominent that said we need to have more resources. And so we're excited about that.
I want to ask you, Laura, you know, Toivoa specializes in I want to get this right, a dual mental health treatment approach that combines cognitive therapy with coaches. Can you elaborate that on us for our viewers?
Yeah, so this is actually a patent pending, first to market, innovative mental health treatment that is built with what's called a prescription digital therapeutic for the health system market. We'll also talk about the employer market that we're actually doing, that we have a strategic partnership that we'll announce right here that we're doing. But the prescription digital therapeutic product is it's a product that the FDA created a new category in 2017. There's only 14 in the market right now. And we will be the very first for moderate to severe depression or anxiety, written by a doctor, covered by insurance. And we're excited about that because it's available now. You don't have to wait 2, 3, 6, 10, 12 months for. You go to the doctor, you get your code, and you start therapy, and you have 8 weeks of therapy with digitally delivered by a licensed clinical psychologist who has practiced 20 years, Dr. Samantha Gaze. And then what we believe is really critical for people with disabilities and their caregivers is having a National Board of Health and Wellness coach that's board certified mental health. This helps with the patient adherence. We know that patients start and finish 7 to 8 times more mental health sessions with a coach. It's called guided CBT. We also know that it helps the isolation, the loneliness that so many people suffering in depression and anxiety face.
You're covering all angles.
So it was really critical for us to combine those two with the very first platform that's W3 certified, those 86 accessibility measures that, you know, people with disabilities can't access, you know, so it's keyboard issues, voice to text, ASL, color contrast, mobility, all of those pieces are built into our technology.
Laura, this is like speaking directly to me. I'm very open and honest with our viewers here who've known me for a couple years. So my mom had a brain injury at the age of 24, and she's now in her mid-60s. So I'm one of those caregivers. So all that you're speaking, the keyboarding, and the assistive technology, all those things, something that I'm very passionate about. So thank you for that, and that's really important to those of us who are facing disabilities or caring for someone that has a disability. So that's really important work that you're doing.
Yes, no, and thank you for sharing that with us, Matt. And we know what you go through, but it also what individuals go through, whether they're a caregiver or they're going through it themselves. And what you mentioned right now is extremely informative. I mean, I'm always learning something new, but I appreciate you're doing what you're doing. And thank you for doing what you're doing for the community, because we need more individuals like you and advocating for those with mental health, whether it's physical or mental. And obviously it hits home for you because you experienced it yourself and you've seen it firsthand. But thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for doing something about it for others, because it's incredibly impactful. And it's very important we're talking about it. And I can see why you are very deserving of the Pete DuPont Freedom Foundation Award, because it shows. And we need more individuals like Laura out there talking about this.
You can see the passion as you talk about it.
Absolutely.
Truly, honestly.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Laura, before we break, I want to make sure if there's a website or social media that guests can look you up, follow you, or just find out even more information about Toivoa. Toivoa.
I would love to end with those coaches under the Longwood Foundation Welfare in the state of Delaware. We actually have brought all those coaches into the state of Delaware, where people can be trained in the state of Delaware, and they can work virtually and training virtually. So we're excited about, right now we're in our third cohort. It's a 28-week training. We can offer full scholarships, and we will be hiring over 2,000 positions in the next 6 years. And the starting salaries are $50,000, and then based on additional experience, master levels can go up to $80,000. We have a strong partnership with Wilmington University, Dell State, the Air Force Base, Dell Tech, and we're excited about really recruiting people in Delaware to become mental health coaches, where we can upskill, reskill, and give people the meaningful careers to really continue to help others across the country struggling with mental health. So Toivoa Coaching Academy, they can go to toivoacoaching.com website. They can sign up for an informational session, learn more about that if they're interested in the career. If people are interested in sponsoring the full scholarships, or even being, investing in Toivoa, the website is toivoa.us for the healthcare product as well.
That's great. I'm going to tell our viewers TOIVOA if you're looking that up on Google to look
and
that up.
.us for the healthcare product, and then toivoacoaching.com for anybody interested in our program. And I should just mention, our program is the 122nd program in the country. They could go to Mayo, Duke, Vanderbilt, or they could come to Toivoa Coaching. Wow. So we're excited about hiring many, many, many people right here in Delaware.
Fantastic. Laura, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you joining us for Good Morning Wilmington. All right, Matt, we got to take, another great guest. We have to take a quick commercial break.
And we're headed over to the kitchen next.
Yes. Oh, we are.
We are.
No, I don't, are we? We are.
So,
but before we go there, let's see what song Kiss has